Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. Today we are talking about Stanford's annual AI Index. This is a report that comes from Stanford's Institute for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence, and this has been coming out ever since 2022. Now, this year's report clocks in at a whopping 456 pages, making it one of the most comprehensive reports on how AI is progressing. And given that I have such frequent gripes around the lag time on studies that we end up having to share on the show, you may wonder why all the way into April of 2025, it's worth taking the time to actually understand a report that's about 2024, which is, of course, ancient history in AI time. Well, I think the thing is, unlike point-in-time statistical explorations that are basically a snapshot of what people were thinking in June of last year or something like that, this is a much more comprehensive look of the patterns and trends that changed over the course of the entire year. There's a lot more longitudinal data, in other words, that gives us trend lines that we can extrapolate on into the future. And so I think it is useful in understanding, reinforcing, or perhaps challenging things that we think about how the industry has evolved and where things are headed. Now, as I said, this monster is 456 pages long, so we're not going to get into everything. Instead, we're going to look through some of the team's major conclusions, and I'll, of course, add my own personal slant on how I see them interacting with what's happening right now. First up, in terms of their own framing, there is a very clear inflection point sort of feeling to this all, where we're moving from the realm of possibility to the realm of what's real. Yolanda Gill and Raymond Perot, the co-directors of this index report, conclude their introduction, AI is no longer just a story of what's possible. It's a story of what's happening now and how we are collectively shaping the future of humanity. So what then were their top takeaways? First, they write AI performance on demanding benchmarks continues to improve. This, I will say, is firmly in the category of so obvious it doesn't really bear too much mentioning. Turns out, guys, over 2024, AI got better and continued to get better. Number two, reinforcing what we were just talking about, they say that AI is increasingly embedded in everyday life. And they actually have a pretty expansive view of AI here. They're not just talking about Gen AI, although a lot of the report obviously is dominated by Gen AI. But they point to areas including transportation, with Waymo coming online in a big way, as well as medical devices in the health field, to show just how much, again, AI is moving from opportunity to action. Number three, one that will surprise absolutely no one who is a regular listener of this show, they write, businesses all in on AI, fueling record investment and usage as research continues to show strong productivity impacts. Now, one of the things that's interesting here is that, as you'll see, one of the big themes in the report is China catching up to the US. But when it comes to American enterprise, it is very clear that American companies are very much out on the vanguard when it comes to AI investment. The Stanford researchers write, in 2024, US private AI investment grew to $109 billion, nearly 12 times China's $9.3 billion and 24 times the UK's $4.5 billion. They also point out that more broadly, business usage is accelerating. Whereas 55% of organizations used AI in 2023, that was up to 78% in 2024. As an aside, I don't know about you guys, but I always wonder when I hear those statistics, who the hell are the 22% of people who are just sitting on their hands? Of course, I more than most, and even you guys as listeners of this show, live in something of a bubble, but still, it's so remarkable to imagine the segments of the business world for whom this technology just has not infiltrated yet, especially given, I think, what we know about what's coming for them. Their number four bullet, and this is one that is a big theme throughout the report, is that while the US still leads in producing top AI models, China is closing the performance gap. This is interesting because this is, like I said, a longitudinal 2024 report, but where this really exploded into people's awareness was at the end of 24 and especially the beginning of 25, with the launch of DeepSeek's models, especially their reasoning model and their mobile app to go with it. In some ways, and certainly extrapolating out from a geopolitical perspective, this is one of the biggest trends. Number five, they point to the uneven evolution of the responsible AI ecosystem. This is something we've talked about a bit on the show. After ChatGPT in 2023, there was a big explosion in interest in risks and concerns around AI, and that sort of fell off across the course of 2024. Not everywhere. I think in this case, I'm particularly focused on the US. And certainly the US presidential election was a pretty big distraction for any sort of actual policy getting done. But it also seemed like attitudes shifted in a pretty dramatic way, away from concern around responsible AI and more towards just an out-and-out battle for AI supremacy. Certainly in some ways, this wars with the trend right before it, the rise of China, given that in many policy discourses at least, the responses to these two particular trends is at loggerheads with one another. Number six, The researchers found that global AI optimism is rising, but a lot of that is concentrated in the developing world, particularly in Asia. Countries like China, Indonesia, and Thailand have significant majorities of their population who see AI products and services as being more beneficial than harmful. In China, that number is 83%, Indonesia 80%, Thailand 77%. Compare that to the United States, where just 39% see AI as more beneficial than harmful. Now, that number is up. In the United States, the balance has gone up 4%, whereas in other developed economies like Germany, France, and Canada, the sentiment has shifted positively by an even bigger direction. But still, I think that the differential between older Western economies and these Southeast Asian economies is extremely notable and could have serious downstream effects on the way that the whole thing shakes out. Number 7, an extremely important trend: AI becomes more efficient, affordable, and accessible. This is something that they reinforced in a chart that they shared as well. Smaller models got a lot better over the course of 2024. And additionally, the models became cheaper to use. Those two things combined meant that categories of use cases that were previously inaccessible came online. The landscape of available AI uses, in other words, has expanded as the cost has gone down and the accessibility has come up. Despite how much we talk about the high cost of AI, given things like the high cost of training new models, as well as the high cost of inference for the reasoning models, the reality is that the cost curve has come down on these technologies way faster than on previous curves. Now we even have the potentially artificial pressure of the Chinese models, which are coming in and being even cheaper, although to what extent that's just them reaping new efficiencies versus artificially lowering their prices. I think skeptics have different takes on that. But the point is, net for people who are building on these models, there has been a huge increase in what they and we can do. And I think that that's obviously creating extremely beneficial effects for the end users of all the things that come out of that new process. Now, as I mentioned, in addition to the takeaways at the beginning of their report, they also shared these charts, which sort of tell the story of the AI index in a handful of visuals. You see China's models catching up as another big trend, a rise in what they call problematic AI, which is AI harm-related incidents. Although I will pause here because although there is a pretty dramatic increase in 2024, I think part of the reason that people have shifted away from some of the more horrified risk narratives is that in raw state, these numbers just aren't as big as I think people thought they were going to be. Now, in many ways, that could lead us to have a false negative and underestimate the potential challenges and risks going forward. But we had a couple of instances last year where we assumed things were going to be terrible and they just weren't. I think most notably election tampering. Everyone thought that there was going to be huge problems and AI was going to absolutely impact the US presidential elections. And it just did squat nothing when it came to that. Another chart that the Stanford Center shares is the rise of more useful agents. And of course, I think when we zoom ahead to the 2026 index report, looking back on 2025, this is going to be the big story of this year, but it started in 2024. I actually just had a conversation with Swix, which will come out next week, where we talked about how for a fair chunk of 2024, agent was kind of a bad word because the gap between what people were talking about and what was actually possible was just so immense. And it wasn't until the introduction of the reasoning models that really started to shift. So you can see there's a pretty dramatic increase in the utility of agents, even starting last year. And I think that that's clearly speeding up and changing even more now. To the surprise of no one, AI continues to be an extremely high investment category. And as we discuss constantly here, AI has immense corporate adoption. And if anything, I think that these surveys tend to underestimate those numbers. Overall, I don't think if you dug into this, you'd find anything super revolutionary. But I think that the important takeaways are absolutely in the trend lines. Corporate adoption going to 100, agents getting more and more performant, China rapidly reaching parity with the US. These are the things that we're seeing dominate the discussion in 2025 because of how significant they are in shaping the landscape and environment in which we all operate. Anyways, big thanks to Stanford University's Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence Center, HAI, for this report. And a big thanks, of course, to you guys for listening. Until next time, peace.